Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Folks, I'm just going to throw this out there for the folks in the chat because sometimes getting a big bird's eye view from this collective group of wisdom from the Bongino army out there is better than just my... Really, are you tired of the winning? And don't wait. Don't hold on. Don't respond yet. Stand by. A serious question here because there's an article last night in the Wall Street Journal by Karl Rove. Hey, hear me out. Just hear me out. Okay, I know what you're thinking already. I get that done. The article, basically, the gist of it is this, that the winning, and this is Rove, who's not even a big Trump guy. I think we all know that. Karl Rove is more of a Bushy. But he acknowledges in the piece that there's never been a month-long set of winning cycles like this, like President Trump. He doesn't in any way attack him in the piece. But he goes on to suggest that you should slow down some of the winning, hear me out, because some of the wins are so big that maybe you should do like a week-long victory lap. In other words, he brings up the border. What? Think about that. I'm going to write this down. Question. Think about that. Comment in the chat. Yes, immediate flood the zone, rock'em sock'em robots winning, or slow down on the winning a bit and emphasize the wins. Talk in the chat. I got a lot to get to today. Kash Patel, big day. Get on the phone with your senators, folks. We need it. The winning and a big announcement about a new show right here. You heard it first. Today's show is sponsored by Birch Gold. I buy my gold from Birch Gold. Text Dan to 989898. Get your free info kit on gold. Today's show also sponsored by our friends at All Family Pharmacy. Listen, healthcare is a complicated mess here. We know it. You should be able to help protect yourself and your family without jumping through hoops or waiting for permission, right? That's what All Family Pharmacy offers. It's a no-hassle way, I love this company, to get the medications you need. Just complete the form online. A licensed doctor provides the prescription. Your meds ship fast and right to your door. You need ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, emergency antibiotics, other essential medications. Folks, I get a ton of email about this company. So make sure you write this URL down. allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Really important. Let's be real. Last several years show us exactly why you can't rely on insurance companies to have your back. You have to be prepared for whatever comes next. You cannot have all this stuff locked up behind a pharmacy counter. If there's an emergency, the pharmacy is going to close. That's why I trust All Family Pharmacy. I've used them twice on trips I took, vacations. They came in through they rescued me in the clutch. They step up when the system fails you. Take control today. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino10 and you'll get 10% off your order. Do not wait until you need it. Stock up now. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Code Bongino10. All Family Pharmacy and its products are not intended as a substitute for professional medical treatment or advice. Consult with your healthcare provider. All right, fellas, let's go. So back to the question. You guys have a chance in the chat to discuss. Remember that, what was it, the coffee clutch lady in Saturday Night Live? Was that Mike Myers who played that? Discuss, okay? I think Rove is wrong. But I don't think his opinion there is crazy either. The border win, which we'll get to hopefully later in the show, about how, you guys okay? Oh, okay. About the dramatic drop in illegal crossings is such a win that it's not the worst idea in the world to maybe take a victory lap over it. However, we have them caught so off guard now. Why give them the chance to even zone in on, say, the border and then fight us back where they can isolate their forces? I think the rock'em sock'em robots is winning. I think we continue. But here's just the last basically 48 hours, folks. Just a quick list, and I got a big show here. The Right Track poll, is the country on the right track, which is a really important poll, is trending in an extremely positive direction. The DHS under Kristi Noem, I'm hearing they're going to start implementing a polygraph program to get these leakers out there who are telling dangerous gang members that there are immigration raids coming. They're inexcusable. Trump has designated the cartels foreign terrorist organizations, gives him a tremendous amount of leeway on the financial asset seizure side. You have the shakeup in Ukraine where he's like, we're done with the status quo. We're going to fix it. That happened yesterday. Kelly Loeffler, confirmed SBA. Kash Patel, up today, 1:45 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure everybody, McGroin crew, I need you guys, email the senators today. I don't care if they said they were a yes, they were a no. We want cash. Donald Trump here's another one I'm going to talk about later in the show. New York wants a congestion tax, a commuter tax on its middle-class citizens, which will bankrupt them, right? Donald Trump got this crazy Democrat governor in New York, Kathy Hochul, to actually sue him in court for the right to tax people for driving after they already paid a toll, most of them, to get into New York. Jim, you remember New York? Jim listens to the show on the radio. There's only a few ways in. You can get in the Lincoln Tunnel, the Holland Tunnel, the Midtown Tunnel, the Triborough Bridge. There's a couple freebies, the Queenie Bee, the Queensboro. I think the Williamsburg is still free, but that's it. Everybody else is already paying to get into New York. The governor is suing Donald Trump in court for the right to tax the living crap out of the citizens already paying the toll already. Can you believe how stupid this woman is? This is another, I'm not even done with the winning. I don't want to get bogged down at any moment. The Democrat Congress approval rating, thanks to Chuck Schumer, Jasmine Crockett, and these buffoons and their endless press conferences, is now at a almost all-time low of 22%. The Democrat congressional approval rating. DEI programs are being eliminated from HUD and the Department of Education. Howard Lutnick, Department of Commerce Secretary, confirmed. And Donald Trump signed an executive order, no more federal tax money, which is your tax money, to illegals. Show's over. That's a show right there. I honestly don't need to do anything else. I will, because I enjoy it.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.
I'm not messing with you, bro. That's a whole show. Any one of these items I just talked about, I could do a 20-minute bit on, no problem. The commuter tax thing in New York is probably the best story of all. I know it doesn't sound it. What do I care about? It is so Donald Trump. How he managed to get the left to show their ass on everything. The guy is, he may be the greatest troll of all time. There's nothing like him. But I do have a lot to get to, including a big announcement. Folks, Kash Patel, 1:45 today is the vote. It looks good, but folks, I don't care about what it looks like. I'm a spreadsheets guy. Republican senators, please, the Bongino army, the MAGA army out there, we want cash. We need this vote down. 1:45 should wrap up while I'm on the radio show. If you want a live reaction today at around 2:05 p.m., shouldn't take more than 20 minutes. Hopefully, we will have an FBI director. He's going to swear in right away. And ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a cleanup operation, okay? We're going to make the FBI great again. That's what we have to do. Finally, I have a big announcement. Are you ready? This is bananas. Folks, because you guys have been, the Bongino army out there, you guys and ladies out there have been so amazing to me. I didn't want to leave you without content. So my goal has always been, when I say leave without content, I mean, I'm on from 11 to 12 and then I have my radio show. But I know, and I have a lot of friends, I'm not an anti-cable news guy. I watch cable news. And there's going to be a role for cable news in the future. There is. It's not going anywhere. It may have a smaller audience, but cable news is still important. They got millions of viewers. But let's be honest, the digital space is the future. It just is. Your TV in the future is going to be a dumb box. You're just going to download an app and watch whatever you want right there on the dumb box. That's the future. Cable's even doing it. There's an Xfinity app now. That's how most people are getting cable. My goal at this Bongino, with the Dan Bongino kind of publishing and production empire, has always been to give you a competitor to cable news. We launched Evita's show, the early edition with Evita. It has been a huge success. I hope you're following the channel. What is it? Rumble.com/Evita, which is easy enough. Rumble.com/Evita. Right there. Evita's show is one of the #1 launches for a podcast. So because it was such a success, I have been scouting around for talent. And there is someone I've known a really, really long time. She is amazing. I've known Evita through her family. It was obviously a great pick because she has taken the show and just done spectacular things with it. Haley Karania has been a good friend of mine for a long time. If you don't know her, you will. She is an amazing talent. We adore her. It's a different kind of show, but that's okay. We like that. Haley has been amazing. She has gone viral many times on TikTok and elsewhere. She is going to be doing the evening edition show at 6 p.m. We will be launching it very shortly. It's HayleyCaronia. So, Anita, if you could look up her social media or Instagram and others, if you guys could follow her now, I'd appreciate it. So we're going to be launching her show, Stat, and you're going to love it. She is super talented. She's a lot of fun to watch. And we've got more for you coming in the future. We are going to give you a full competitor to, we're going to give you stuff all day. Just give me some time. So big announcement. Welcome, Haley, to this team. We're all looking forward to it. It's going to happen quick, too. So get ready. Haley Caronia, evening edition. I'm pretty stoked about it. Another new show. You did? Yeah, awesome. We love you guys in the chat. Oh, thank you. Who said congrats? There you go. Okay. Carvania Forest. That's amazing. Thank you, guys. We love you guys. It's all for you. I want to leave you guys. And Rumble's free. You can pay for Rumble Premium, so you don't got to get the mid-roll kind of inserts. That's up to you. We love it if you do, but you don't have Rumble is free. Yeah, but there are ads. They pay, Rumble's an expensive enterprise, so that's how we pay for it. All right, let's get to the show. Folks, I am a big proponent of the Donald Trump plan. There's two particular plans going on because executive orders are great, right? We can all agree Donald Trump has done a lot by executive order. But for those in the chat, who's going to get the first one? What's the problem with executive orders? Anyone in the chat know? There's a pretty significant problem with a lot of upside. The upside is the speed, right? Donald Trump goes like this, signs it, Donald J. Trump, the executive orders implemented pending lawsuits, which we get. There's going to be lawsuits about everything. We understand that. But what's the problem with executive orders? Anyone know? Yes. Got your 6 in Roman numerals says, yes, the next election, the next executive could be a Democrat and just overturn him. Thank you, got your 6. I got your 6 too. You need legislation. Legislation makes the concrete dry. Donald Trump knows this. So does the Congress and the Senate. We need legislation. Donald Trump cannot cut taxes by himself. He can't. He can move things around within the executive branch, hire and fire. The unitary executive is real. He cannot implement legislation himself. There are two. If this is boring, tell me in the chat, shut your freaking pie hole. Thank you, Anita. We love you. You're the best. You're the queen. If this is boring, say shut your freaking pie hole because I'm fascinated by this. The United States Senate, not all of them, but many senators want a 2-bill approach. Border and defense first, which they think will be an easy win. Tax cuts, economy second. The House side, Speaker Johnson's side, which I agree with wholeheartedly, is BS. Put it all in one bill. Donald Trump came out. He's spoken about this on my show. He's kind of said a few times, I don't care either way. Now he's basically all in. He knocks the Lindsey Graham version of the bill and he says the House resolution, the one bill approach, implements the full America First agenda. Everything, not parts of it. He wants, quote, all caps, one big, beautiful bill. It will, without question, make America great again. Let me explain to you briefly why. One bill is the answer. I know a lot of people up on the Hill like, what the hell does this guy know? Listen, I've been doing this a long time, okay? I'm not stupid. Nobody's read the MAGA crowd better than us, the biggest MAGA show out there. People are ready to back you for big, bold change this 100 days, first 100 days, first month of Donald Trump, and subsequent 100 days are proving it. People are ready for big things. They don't want small bites at the apple pie, okay? They want to take the whole big thing. They're not looking for piecemeal stuff, number one. Number two, the smaller you make the bill, everybody follow me in the chat here, this is important. The smaller you make the bill, the more material you give people within the small bill to object to. If you do a big bill, the things they would have objected to in the smaller bill get scooped up in the big bill, and they have to pick and choose what to object to. Let me just, easier. You put 2 desserts on the table. Someone goes, I like these both, but this one, I'm not so sure I like the color of that whipped cream in the corner. I'm going to pass this one. You put them 100 of them on the table, nobody's even going to notice that. Nobody's even going to notice that because it's quick. I got to do one. That's what you do. You hammer this thing while the MAGA crowd wants to change America, is ready to take the bull, forget by the horns, by the balls, and run with this thing. Go, move forward, red line, hit that tachometer. Sixth gear that thing, man. We are ready. Donald Trump is political instincts. Come on, Republicans in the House and Senate. You know I don't like Republican on Republican political nonsense, okay? Because it's a waste of time. We got a bigger problem with the Democrats. You know Donald Trump, for all the knocks, some of you guys have been, and you know you do. Some of you guys are badmouth them behind the scenes. Whatever. You do what you want. I'm just telling you, you know his political instincts are better than yours. They just are. They just are. One bill. Get it done. Okay. How do we know Donald Trump's political instincts are good? Well, don't take my word for it, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate that you do. I hope my opinion matters. I do a lot of homework. My opinion doesn't mean jack squat and jack left town. You got to back it up with evidence. Here's CNN's Harry Enton on a poll about Trump approval. Don't believe me. Believe CNN. Check this out.
Donald Trump and the Republican Party has changed the electorate. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at party identification, Democrats versus Republicans. You go back to 2017, 5 points more of the electorate was Democrats than Republicans. You go to 2021 when Joe Biden was starting out, look at that, 6 points more of the electorate was Democrats than Republicans. But look at what's happened in February of 2025. Look at this. Republicans, there are more Republicans in the electorate than there are Democrats. Republican +2. So Donald Trump and the Republicans have remade the electorate. They've turned some people over from being Democrats or independents to become Republicans. New folks have entered the electorate who are more Republican leaning. And so when you combine that with the fact that Republicans are really, really behind Donald Trump, all of a sudden you get a winning recipe whereby you break the normal rules of politics and give Donald Trump that positive net approval rating when he had pretty much a consistently negative one in term number one.
Again, don't believe. I appreciate that you believe me and trust me on the show. We have a pretty solid record of displaying and transmitting facts and data and receipts. But that doesn't mean you get a pass on the next one. You got to back up what you say. To the Republicans in Congress who may have this undercurrent of distrust about Trump's political instincts, I'm just asking you to back it up. If he's saying one big, beautiful bill is better, I trust the guy. The numbers back it up that America is ready for a big, bold, transformational change. Well, one last thing, and Guy thinks I'm being too wordy on this, and it's possible I am, but I'm so fascinated by this. Can you imagine you get this big, bold, beautiful bill out there? The border's closed. The military's funded with high-quality weapons and cleaned out of all the waste. The tax cut goes through. No tax on tips. No tax on Social Security. This is all in one big bill. Regulatory reforms, all of it in one big bill. Donald Trump goes around the country, all over the place. These go to L.A. too. Does like 5 or 6 big national stops in huge media markets. Folks, this thing will pass with every Republican. You want to be on the wrong side of it? That's how you rock and roll. How do I know you've got a limited opportunity to do this? Data matters. Interactive polls on X. Great account. I enjoy it. Here's a Quinnipiac poll. Again, not some right-leaning pollster. Folks, 22% of voters approve of the way the Democrats in Congress are handling their job. They note that's an all-time low. Republicans have at least a 40, almost double. You've got a window to move now. You've got this huge almost 20 percentage point buffer in approval. Donald Trump is at peak popularity. The Democrats are in disarray. They have no leader. They have no mission. They have no message. They have no nothing. They have zero. One big bill. Do it quick. Do it surgical. Do your rallies. Get the public behind it. In 6 weeks, we could be looking at a changed America with signed legislation and Donald Trump at 55% approval and Republican Congress members at 40, 45, maybe even 50. Do it. Do it now. I got another piece of winning coming up for you after the break and something very sensitive to me. Donald Trump understands there is a big, big role for an unpoliticized constitutional Department of Justice, and we have not had that. More winning on that, too. Wow, new sponsor. Welcome, Ramp. Ramp.com/Bongino. Maybe asking, well, what's Ramp? I'm going to tell you. I know what expense chaos looks like. For me, it's like receipts and invoices from multiple different places, subscriptions you don't even remember signing up for. You're like, what is that? Happens all the time. It's a nightmare. Ramp helps take care of all that. Ramp. It's a free corporate card that handles tedious financial operations automatically so your finance team can focus on what actually moves the needle: forecasting, strategic planning, and driving growth. Ramp also real-time feeds into NetSuite, automated receipt matching, custom approval workflows, everything you need for bulletproof books. Make your life simple. Switch to Ramp. It's easy. For new members, Ramp, R-A-M-P, offers a complimentary white glove onboarding service to help you migrate from your current corporate card to start using Ramp. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just #1 in spend management by G2. And now, for a limited time, Dan Bongino Show listeners can get a $250 gift card when you join Ramp. How do you do it? You go to ramp.com/Bongino, R-A-M-P, ramp.com/Bongino, ramp.com/Bongino. Check them out. Support our sponsors. Cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you, Ramp. Welcome. Good to have you. So, this is an issue sensitive to me. The updates from last night, he calls this the Trump Truth updates, because if you're not paying attention like these guys to Donald Trump's truth account, you're missing out on all the goodies. Donald Trump is now firing all of the, quote, Biden-era U.S. attorneys. We must clean house immediately and restore confidence. America's golden age has to have a fair justice system. That begins today. Ladies and gentlemen, again, the left, how many times we got to talk about it? We can use it. We've used this title to the show, 50 times? Because it's so appropriate almost every single day. The hair's on fire, the wetting of the diapers. It's really embarrassing. Folks, what we call AUSAs and USAs. U.S. attorneys, I know in USAs, you think United States of America's. No, it's U.S. attorneys in the law enforcement field. And AUSAs, Assistant United States Attorneys. They serve at the pleasure of the president. These are not civil service type employees. These are not administrators. These are political appointees. Donald Trump has every right to let them go. Joe Biden did the same thing. It's not an argument. Let the media melt down. They're embarrassing themselves. Doesn't matter. I just wanted, the only reason I'm discussing this story, because I feel like if it's not a big deal and they do this all the time, why are you talking about it? Because there's a bigger story here. It's about AUSAs, but it's about the new Republican Party. And it's this. If you're bored right here, go put in a search engine, George Bush, United States Attorney Scandal. Scandal, with air quotes, right? George W. Bush fired some U.S. attorneys too. And do you remember? It was like this really big, quote, scandal. This goes to show you, you are the media now. It was a fake scandal. George W. Bush, whether you loved him or him, had every right to fire U.S. attorneys. Happens all the time. But because the media declared it a scandal, it actually became a scandal because they can make up fake news. And that was the only thing you had back then was fake news. Now, a story like this, do you notice the media, that the response to this has been almost null and void because of the rock'em sock'em robot strategy? This is why I disagree with Rove's piece. This is why you just keep hitting them. You're not even going to hear about this. It'll be a non-story the minute cash is approved today. This was a huge, I'm going to say 2-week story when George W. Bush was president, maybe more. They're just not the media. The media is not the driver of the national narrative anymore, folks. They're just not. You're the media now. You know why this story is important? Because it's not. Does that make sense? This story is important because it's not important. It happens all the time. And in the past, it would have been a scandal. All right, moving on. The W's are just piling in. I told you in the beginning of the show with the can't stop winning thing that Karl Rove, he has a piece in the Journal. We discussed it earlier, but there's this two competing ideas now in D.C. The winning is actually coming so fast people are starting to wonder, like Karl Rove, kind of old school Republicans. I get it, but I'm just giving you multiple perspectives. This is why we're better than them. Like, we see their side, but they don't see ours. They just see us as a bunch of crazies, even though we keep winning. It's not a crazy theory when you think about it, that maybe we should slow down the wins and maybe do a national tour about success at the border. Personally, I don't agree with that. I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time, to use the stupid cliche I hate, but whatever, you all get the point. It's a win-win. It's a win-win, right? This is like cliche time now, right? I like Rock'em Sock'em, right? And I think it's working because of the AUSA story, which is a non-story. But I want to give you the actual numbers because they're so ridiculously good that they're almost hard to believe, that it does make you think, maybe we should take a breath even for a weekend and do like a border tour. Here is Paul Perez, the CBP rep. He's on a cable news channel here talking about the border numbers. It's almost hard to believe how quickly Donald Trump shut the border. It's amazing. Check this out.
I've been with Border Patrol since the INS days back in 1997, so going on 28 years. And this is definitely trending to be the most secure border that I've ever worked under because of Donald Trump's policies and everything that he's put in place to secure the border. It's working, and those numbers actually tell that story.
Folks, they're ridiculous. I saw some number yesterday. They were like 260 encounters at the border. They were thousands, tens of thousands. It's insane. It's almost like illegal immigration as effectively like stopped. Which I know you in the chat are like, hey, Dan, get your head out of your ass. Of course it stopped. I don't need to. You're right. I understand what you're saying. I know what you're thinking. That once you get a president in there who says, hey, newsflash, border's closed. You come here, you're getting deported, arrested. That's it. And we'll fly you right back out of here. So you're wasting your time? Shocker. Air quotes, right? Nobody shows up. This isn't hard. This isn't hard. But you got to mean it. That's the thing. Because, again, Bongino Army, you may say, well, Dan, Alejandro Mayorkas, Biden's DHS secretary, said the border was closed too. Yeah, but everybody knew he didn't mean it. They just showed up at the border and it wasn't closed. It's like telling everyone in the HOA in your neighborhood, hey, man, my doors are locked. And then you leave your doors unlocked. The doors still got to be locked or else people eventually going to break into your house. Another big W yesterday as we constantly rack up the wins. He calls them the dubs. The dubs are piling up. You guys, is that camera not work? Oh, yeah. We have two cameras in here. You ever see the side shot? We can't even show you the side shot anymore because everybody moved everything out of the studio. Everything's like gone. It's like a ghost town other than a monitor. You're going to love the new studio, by the way. Here's another big W yesterday. Donald Trump and his team at the State Department under Marco Rubio has officially designated the following as foreign terror organizations. You can see Tren de Aragua, MS-13, Sinaloa cartel. Listen to the drug cartels. There's a new sheriff in town, man. He may not be officially titled the sheriff, but I think you get the point. When Donald Trump declares you an FTO, foreign terror organization, there's a real consequence to that. Your assets, money, all this stuff that you're hiding in banks, and anyone who may be supporting you can be subject to almost like RICO-style investigations. So this is not some just PR thing. Oh, look, let's call them terror organizations to make it look like we're serious. Folks, there's a real penalty to this. This is Donald Trump saying you're not going to poison our kids anymore with fentanyl. Not on my watch. There's going to be a real penalty, and it may involve death. I'm just telling you, once the military gets involved and the drones, they're not going to be an easy fight. You know, I saw my good friend Jesse Kelly on Twitter, very patriotic history of military service himself, so he knows. Jesse's got his own radio show, but Jesse wrote, listen, it's not going to be an easy fight. This isn't going to be, these cartels are very, very well armed and trained very well. This isn't this isn't like Sicario or whatever. This is going to be a real big deal. It's not a movie. If you've seen a movie, you know what I'm talking about, right? But it's a step. It's a step. And Donald Trump is sending a message, just like he did at the border. We're not screwing around. I've got more W's. The Trump tariffs And I want you to listen in this soundbite coming up next. I'll take a quick break here. But I want you to listen in the soundbite because, again, all the economists attacking Donald Trump on tariffs. I've said before, I don't like tariffs. I haven't changed my mind on tariffs. I do like tariffs as a negotiating tool. And that's why you got to listen. Listen to what he's saying. Last break, and we got a ton more content for. You guys are right. It's going to be so much left over. It's ridiculous. Hey, I feel like everything's gotten more expensive these days, but not top-of-the-line hearing aids from MD Hearing. MD Hearing recently cut their price in half. I just gave a pair of these, by the way. This woman friend of ours who helps us out around the house. MD Hearing just made their Neo rechargeable digital hearing aids only $297 a pair. It's over 90% less than clinic hearing aids. The Neo fits inside your ear, so no one will even know it's there. Plus, MD Hearing just launched the Neo XS, MD Hearing's smallest hearing aid ever. $297 for a pair of hearing aids this good is crazy. MD Hearing has sold over 2 million hearing aids. They're offering a 45-day risk-free trial with a 100% money-back guarantee. MD Hearing was just selected to be the hearing aid supplier for top Medicare Advantage plans, so they're a brand you can trust. Get the high-quality, affordable hearing aids you deserve with MD Hearing. Go to shopmdhearing.com and use promo code PATRIOT to get a pair of hearing aids for just $297. Plus, they're adding a free extra charging case, $100 value just for listeners of my show. That's shopmdhearing.com. Use our promo code PATRIOT and get a pair of hearing aids for just $297. Thanks, MD Hearing. And our last sponsor, Blackout Coffee. You know it's my coffee of choice. Matter of fact, right now, it is the official coffee of the Bongino Army. But why? Folks, I believe in the parallel economy. That's where it's at. I believe in the parallel economy, the freedom economy, the liberty economy, the America First economy. And John and Blackout Coffee, he owns the place. They absolutely love America. But it's important. Loving America means working hard, produce a good product too. Blackout Coffee uses premium beans. They ship fresh within 48 hours of roasting. Their regular coffees are amazing. Their flavored coffees are amazing. The cinnamon French toast, the dark chocolate, absolutely outstanding. See what I'm talking about. Blackout's the real deal. Stop drinking that woke corporate coffee. These people don't even like us. And the coffee tastes like crap too. Blackout Coffee, delicious, bold, never bitter coffee. That's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino or use coupon code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Make the switch to Blackout Coffee. You're going to love it. Okay, back to the show. I want you to listen here. While we're on the topic here, just to ground ourselves again, of big Trump W's and this winning theory. I'm just going to put this in. I don't want to forget to talk about this later on radio. Do we slow the winning down and take a victory lap? Or do we keep the winning coming? Keep it coming because they cannot focus on one specific thing and it's having a real material impact on them. I will say one thing though, and tell me if you agree in the chat. Here is the one condition. You know, we got Rock'em Sock'em, right? The one condition where I would say take the Rock'em Sock'em, place him down and ask him to go to sleep for a minute. The one condition I would have is if we pass this big, bold, beautiful bill, tax reform, regulatory reform, border reform, military cleanup. If we pass that, then I would take a week or so to do a victory lap. Do you agree? You may think I'm crazy. You may say, screw it, Dan. Next day, hit him with another. Okay. That's the one time. I think that's so big. Michael, you agree? That you take, maybe not a week. Maybe you sign on a Monday and by Wednesday you go Rock'em Sock'em again. But you got to take a few days to celebrate that. That would be freaking huge. But one of the things in there is going to be economic reform. And they're knocking Trump, these economists, on tariffs. Folks, I agree. I love economics. Wow. No, keep it. Look at this. Wow, let me just stop this. Nope. Who said it here? Let's give someone a shot. Here, always on McGroin. Always. That's someone of our McGroin. Always is like a rock star in the McGroins. Always says, keep it coming. I've never been overwhelmed with such negativity on a comment on my own channel. Okay. You guys win. I'm wearing my Bongino Army shows for you. It's not for me. I don't know it all. You want to keep hitting them? So you're just so we're clear. You're suggesting sign the bill on a Monday at what? We do a signing. What's a good media cycle? 3 p.m. 3 p.m. A lot of people, wrapping up the day, but they're getting by 3:01. We're out there hitting them again. Okay, I'm game. To talk to me right back. Right, just right back again. Okay, I'm cool with that. I just think that's such a big deal that to just go and do a quick little victory tour for a couple days and to just show people what we just did. But okay, moving on. One of the things is going to be economic reform. I want you to listen to Trump on tariffs. Yes, he believes in tariffs. I'm not a huge believer in tariffs. We do have to get tax revenue from somewhere. The problem I see with tariffs is it's a $25 million income base we're dealing with, which I hate the income tax. I want to be clear. It's only three, what is it, 25 trillion? And it's three on the other end. So there's not a lot of kind of feathers to pluck from the goose there, right? But tariffs are an unbelievable negotiating tool to use. Listen at the end. This is why Trump is so damn good at this. He makes you believe that this is going to happen and it's got to be a credible threat. And then at the end, he says, listen, in this, we're talking about auto tariffs, but give them some time to move here. Check this out.
Decided specifically what the auto tariff rate should be?
Yeah, I probably will tell you that on April 2nd, but it'll be in the neighborhood of 25%.
What about semiconductors and pharmaceuticals?
It'll be 25% and higher, and it'll go very substantially higher over a course of a year. But we want to give them time to come in because, as you know, when they come into the United States and they have their plant or factory here, there is no tariff.
Folks, you see why he's better at this than I am? He just is. I ran for office. I didn't win. He won. He won 3 times. Okay, so I don't know what to tell you. He's really good at this. I know Donald Trump pretty well, but I wouldn't say we're like coffee buddies or anything. I don't want to exaggerate my relations. You know, I hate that. When people are like, hey, Trump's my buddy. I hate that. It sounds so stupid, like name dropping like that. But I know him well enough, and I'm telling you, looking right in the camera, I honestly don't know how serious he is about tariffs. I don't. There's a side of me that thinks he really believes it, and a side of me that's like, he's got to know what they do. But that's the gift in this. It's not the curse. Do you understand? Because if you don't believe the tariff is a real threat, the tax on say you're Joe's Motor Company, and you're selling cars in Mexico and building them in Mexico, but exporting some into the United States, the tariff 25%, if your car's $1,000, whatever, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be $1,250 if you don't compensate on the price side because it's 25% more. So the company knows it's going to lose market share. So they're incentivized to say, hey, screw it, we're just going to build in the United States. That's the beauty of the whole thing, that when you use a tariff as a negotiating tool, he may move some of this production right back here to the United States, what would mean jobs, capital investment elsewhere. You get it, folks? Because it's a fair enough critique to say, Dan, you can't have it both ways where tariffs are good things and bad things. I'm not. A tariff's a tax, period. However, we do have to get taxes from somewhere. And if we can use that as a vehicle to get production here, then I'll take it. I'll take it. You listen to him at the end. You got to listen to everything Donald Trump says. Here is the biggest W. If this story sucks, everybody in the chat, who said I get it? There. Red State Deplorable. Good, I get it too. Do you hate this story about New York? If you do, I won't cover it. I love this story, and I don't want to cover it just because I was from New York. I think this story is, if you are still confused about how Donald Trump rolls and how he constantly gets the left to like show their ass to the public, you will not be confused after this story. How he gets these people to do the dumbest things possible because they hate him is the most remarkable skill I've ever seen. Folks, they hated George W. Bush. They hated Mitt Romney. They hate every Republican. But I've never seen them act so tactically inept. Here's the story. Put this up at the New York Post. Donald Trump cancels basically the New York City congestion pricing. Big hat tip to Secretary Duffy at the Department of Transportation as well. They basically said, you can't do it. Sorry, they need approval first, and we're not giving it to you. Congestion pricing is a very, very simple concept. If you were going to drive into a congested traffic area of Manhattan, New York City wants to charge you another toll. I want you to keep in mind, I am from New York. To get into Manhattan, most of the crossings are already tolled. Well, producer Jim just sent this to me. He looked it up. The Verrazano Bridge, which comes from Staten Island, is currently $11.19. You're already paying more than $11 to enter Manhattan. The Midtown Tunnel, all of this stuff, you're already paying. Manhattan wants to charge you more. And here's the thing. It's going to be about $9, but when traffic gets bad, it's going to be even more. Oh, you do? You know what? Play Duffy, and then I'm going to tell you on the other side, what? Get ready. This is an important segment. Why this story, which seems so regional and stupid, like, oh, who cares? It's not. It is probably the biggest faceplant the Democrats have done yet. Check this out.
Why can't New York City determine what it wants to charge for people to come in and out?
So we give them the authority, number one. And so the American taxpayer, the New York taxpayer, funded those streets. And the way the governor set this up is, she said, even though you already paid for these streets, you can't use those streets unless you pay an additional toll. Well, if I'm the taxpayer, I'm like, I already paid for the street. Why am I paying an additional toll to the taxes I already paid? There's no free pathway into that cordoned area, right? So if you're a middle income or a lower income shopper or worker, you can't access public roads by any means into this area. That's flat out wrong. And we've never had a program like that where there's not a free public road to get in to a certain area.
No, you guys are wrong. This is a total side debate. She absolutely, Evita 100% has her dad's eyes. Put up a screen. Come on. They're arguing over here. Michaels obviously knows Evita well. They're like married and stuff. But Evita Duffy, of course, our morning show. Well, Sean's her dad. You're telling me, look at Sean's eyes and look at it. Can you get a picture of Evita? They're like, oh, it doesn't look anything like her dad. Oh, yes, she looks like Rachel, her mom, a lot. But tell me that's not her dad's eyes. Come on. 100. There's Sean. Okay? And then that is 100% his daughter. 100% the eyeballs. 100%. Look at the eyes. She's got the same eyes. Folks in the chat, please chime in. These guys are crazy. Heck yeah, we just said it. Patty84. The same. It's the same eyes. Of course, yes, she looks like her mom, but she definitely got her dad's eyes. But getting back, I didn't even, thank you for playing that clip. Shame on me. Shame, Game of Thrones style. Start throwing Rotten Tomatoes at me. I didn't even think of that angle. The New York City residents already paid for the damn road. It's not a private road. It was funded by their tax. They already own it. So think about this. Donald Trump comes in, congestion tax canceled by everybody. Let me read you a text from my brother, who, by the way, wasn't a big Republican in the past, but is a huge Trump supporter now. Hold on. I got to show you. I got to play. This is him yesterday. New York yesterday. Yeah, New York just came out at me because I was talking about my brother. Dude, Trump's post on, this is an exact one, on Truth about canceling congesting pricing is epic, 5 exclamation points. It's driving Hochul nuts. Neighbors love this. Long live the king. Effing awesome, all caps. That's my brother up in New York, you local 3 electrician. The union guy, they're all in they love Trump for this. So Trump gets an epic political win, number one. Number two, this was a tax that was going to hammer the middle class. Ladies and gentlemen, rich people love taxes like this. They do? Yes, they do. You know why? What's the most valuable thing rich people have? Folks in the chat, what is it? What's the most valuable thing rich people have? Anyone know? Someone's got to get this. Yes! Stevia girl. Time. You think a rich guy worth 500 milli gives a shit about a $9 tax? He doesn't care. He's like, wait, so this is going to keep a bunch of people off the roads? Great. The irony of this thing is it screws the middle class. And the third win out of it, not the win here is that the messaging thing, the Democrats are backwards. The third win is the crazy New York governor is going to sue him in court for the right to tax the shit out of middle class people. This is insane. Folks, this is the greatest story to highlight the collapse of the Democrat Party we've ever seen. You want another one? You know, I love this guy, Peter St. Onge. He does great videos on economics. You should check him out on X. It's Peter, common spelling, Stonge. Very, very good account. He does really hard-hitting videos. Very good on the economic stuff. He did a video the other day about another example of how the Democrat Party, just like this New York congestion pricing story, is so afraid. This is why I disagree with the Karl Rove approach of slowing down. It's working, rock'em sock'em robots. It's just working. Don't slow down. Full speed ahead. This is what happened the other day. Donald Trump, along with a lot of Americans, I would argue a majority, at minimum a plurality, of Americans are getting very frustrated with the Ukrainian war. Nobody saying Ukraine deserves this. We're not knocking the Ukrainian people at all. Don't read this the wrong way. However, Zelensky has really he's completely let you down. The messaging, attacking Donald Trump after all the United States has done to support the mission over there was really a stupid move. The Democrats, because Trump is now starting to question, hey man, Zelensky, you want to end this thing or not? He's got the Democrats messaging now that they're the war party, which is crazy because, Michael, you're like a more libertarian guy like me, right? We've been questioning this for years. Like, why is the United States involved in basically every continent on earth, losing our own people for other people's missions that they don't want to do themselves? You know how many people feel that way? You've got Democrats, Bernie Sanders bros asking that question. Trump now has the Democrats. Now they're like the warmonger party. This is crazy. In one day, bro, he's got the Democrats suing in court to tax the shit out of the middle class. And he's got the Democrats advocating for like endless wars all over the world. Here's St. Onge on J.D. Vance's speech to EU and how J.D. Vance just set the world on fire with this. In a good way. They need a little. Everybody needs a shakeup. Check this out.
Last week, Vice President J.D. Vance visited Europe and dressed them down like naughty children for Europe's rising authoritarianism, ranging from censoring their own people to literally canceling elections they don't like. The European establishment was aghast. The conference organizer in Munich cried. The German defense minister fumed that defending free speech is, quote, unacceptable. Bloomberg, meanwhile, lamented that, quote, the transatlantic alliance as we know it is dead. We can always dream. JD was speaking at a military conference in Munich. Perhaps the Europeans thought they would get another couple tens of billions from Uncle Sucker. Instead, JD came heavy, criticizing the EU's recent cancellation of an election in Romania because the populace won, while Germany mulls a ban on the second most popular party in the country, the AfD, also for the crime of being populist, adding, quote, if you're running in fear from your own voters, there's nothing America can do for you. In other words, if you keep censoring, we can't be friends. The sclerotic authoritarians in Europe have painted themselves into a corner. Their economies are moribund. They haven't had an innovation in roughly a century, and they've become a left-wing welfare queen living on handouts from American taxpayers. As much as they would love to tell JD and Trump to take a hike, they cannot.
Peter goes for it. And maybe you needed to hear that. We're not going to be Uncle Sucker anymore. I'm sorry, but we're not going to do it. The U.S. taxpayer, and by the way, for those out there on the left saying, oh, what are we, cowards going to retreat from the world? Whoa, 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 whoa. WTF over us? You mean the United States that rescued Europe from that thing called World War One? Oh, why is it called World War One and not just the World War? Anybody know? Any of you guys know? That's it. Michael is a math major. It's great because there's a second one. And we had a little role in that too, I think. Just my poor grandfather fought over there. Scarred him the rest of his life. I lost an uncle, Gregory Ambrose, sitting on that wall, that Vietnam Memorial Wall. Never met him in my life. He's my mother's older brother. So before you start lecturing us, we've been there. Who do you think kicked Saddam Hussein out of Kuwait? We're always there. And you know who gives out? What did we get? Did we get any money out of it? We got nothing. You know what we get? We get body bags as we bust our ass to shuttle money. They say, you didn't deserve this war. Nobody's saying that. But you damn well better give us some exit plan here. Because there's war and conflict around the world, and the United States can't solve all of it. And Donald Trump wants to know with the EU, hey, man, when are you guys going to step the up? You know, this NATO alliance we have is really the U.S. The German military is collapsing. Look it up. It's a fraction of what it should be. You've got the UK saying, hey, we'll send troops over, but we need a U.S. guarantee. The UK's out of the EU now, but you get, I mean, guys, you got to do it. Sooner or later, you got to show us over here that you're willing to fight for yourselves. Now, I'm going to do you a favor here. It's important. Take a breath on this because I don't want to mess this up. Yesterday's show was very popular. We're still having a problem, I think, with the live stream counter, but the VOD on-demand numbers have been fantastic for us. Yesterday's show was really popular because I explained to you what I think is going on in Donald Trump's head, why he has a general distrust of Zelensky. If you missed the opening of yesterday's podcast, you need to go back and watch it. Matter of fact, I don't even mind if you stop now, pick it up again later, and watch that first. Donald Trump does not trust Zelensky because of Zelensky and UK members of parliament and elsewhere who were knee-deep in the collusion hoax. The Russia collusion hoax that was used to target Trump was started in Ukraine. Period. It was. And it filtered its way into Hillary Clinton, okay? It started in Ukraine. The impeachment hoax started with a call to Zelensky in Ukraine, which he didn't help us with. He could have cleared it up right away, and he didn't. Like it or not, that's one of the reasons Donald Trump doesn't trust this guy, because he's been untrustworthy on issues. He still hasn't cleaned up the impeachment thing and told people, hey, this Hunter Biden stuff was real. Trump was right to call me about it. That's all he has to say. He still hasn't fully cleared it up. Dan, why are you repeating yesterday's show? Because I'm trying to set the groundwork because why Donald Trump doesn't trust the EU either. Do you remember this article? I want you to look at the date. I put it on my show probably 100 times. You should bookmark this article. April 14th, 2017. So right after Donald Trump, a few months after he swore into office for his first term. CNN Politics. British intelligence passed Trump associates' communications with Russians onto U.S. counterparts. Leave that up for a minute, please, guys. Pregnant pause for a reason. Folks, my first book, Spygate, on this spying collusion hoax, this article appears in the book multiple times. Why would CNN write an article about the illicit, immoral, and potentially illegal passing of what was fake intelligence, a Russian collusion hoax, onto their U.S. counterparts, who then used it to what I think potentially commit crimes and create this fake story? Why would CNN admit that? That the intelligence communities were basically working against Donald Trump, and some of them involved the UK and EU countries. Why would they admit it? Because back then, ladies and gentlemen, CNN thought it was real. They really believed Donald Trump was colluding with the Russians. It's an insane story, but because they were so crazy, Shudo and Pamela Brown and Bradner, who wrote this piece, they really believed their sources on this. So they wrote the article like, oh my gosh, this is so serious that the British intelligence services have information. Folks, all this stuff was garbage. It was poppycock. It was crap. It wasn't information. It was like a phone call. It was like Alpha Bank garbage. Now do you see why Donald Trump doesn't trust fully people across the pond and elsewhere about security matters and NATO? Because in his head, he knows a lot of these same people who are not funding NATO attacked him in the past. I'm not telling you it's going to get in the way of him doing whatever turns out to be the right thing in the end. I'm just trying to explain to you a little internal Trump psychology, given my best guess on why he doesn't trust Zelensky. Some in the UK, although he's been talking pretty nicely about Starmer, which I'm not a huge Starmer fan, but I get what he's got to do. and people in the EU. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. Bookmark that article. It's one of the most important articles you're ever going to read. This is the start of this whole Russia collusion thing and how the media bought in on it. All right, let me move on to one more. We have time? Yeah, we have time more. Folks, let me see. I want to jump ahead here. Like, can we go to the Maha thing, the Cali Means guy? I want to end with this. Folks, you know I'm a life hacks guy. On my weekend show, we got the life hack segment again this weekend on my podcast, rumble.com/Bongino. But did you guys see, I want to leave you in a good mood. Did you see this on CNN? CNN desperately tries to shut this guy down as he starts citing the conflicts of interest of all the people attacking RFK for genuinely trying to make America healthy again. You see how the guy looks? What is he, like 70 years old? He looks like he's like 20 years old. I'll take his advice. I don't need that last one we had in office before. I need RFK. Watch this segment. It's good stuff.
About childhood vaccines, number one. He talked about electromagnetic radiation, number two. He talked about pesticides. He didn't talk about the things that Callie's talking about here, which is things like obesity or over-medicating children or sugar drinks. I'm all for that. I agree with that. But you can have both.
He gave a powerful speech about these issues. This is what Bobby Kenney's fighting against, Dr. Offit. As you know, you were the chair at the Children's Hospital, the Merck chair. It was like a NASCAR driver wearing their sponsors. Merck paid your $1.5 million salary. And this is what Bobby's saying, is that fundamentally, pharma can create good innovations, but they're foundationally incentivized for children to be sick. Pharma doesn't make money when children are healthy. The hospitals don't make money when the beds are empty. Chronic disease, just as a demonstrable statement of economic fact, is a great economic invention for the healthcare industry, which demonstrably makes money when patients are sick. And that's an incentive Bobby Kennedy is going hard after.
I'm reading the chat because who just said it? Bass Chica, Kaylee dropping knowledge is my oh my gosh, dropping knowledge, nuclear Moab, mother of all bombs. I mean, how do you, the guy's just sitting there in stunned disbelief. I'm bringing it up because there's going to be a lot of pushback from a lot of big money people about Bobby Kennedy's efforts to talk about what are we doing. You know what, folks, before we start medicating the hell out of people, Bobby's approach is going to be the secretary. Hey, man, are we cleaning up our diets? Are we pushing exercise in schools? What are we doing first to keep our brains frosty as we get older? Can we then get to the medication stuff later? Let's clean up the big stuff first. Folks, we got a lot of big things happening. All makes sense in the coming days. Please get on board with the Bongino Show. We deeply appreciate the Bongino Army being here for us. That's why I wore the show today. Thank you so much. Haley Karania, new show coming soon, the evening edition with Haley, coming within the next couple weeks for you. She's amazing. You're going to love her. It's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern time, be a live show. We got Evita, we got Haley, we got so much happening. You can always get our shirts, Bongino Army shirts, at store.bongino.com. And please download the Rumble app. It is absolutely free. Watch the show every day, whether on demand or live. Doesn't matter to us. We love the live audience, 11 a.m. Eastern time live, on demand anytime. And please give us a follow at Apple and Spotify. That follow button's really important. Really important. See you all tomorrow, 11 a.m. and here on the radio show on Rumble in just a few minutes. See you then.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show.